Long ago, there lived a wealthy and influential man who, as he aged, realized that the hardships of old age were the same for both the rich and the poor. Disillusioned with his wealth and status, he renounced his luxurious life and retreated into the forest to live as a humble monk. Devoting himself to meditation, he freed his mind from negativity and embraced a life of peace and happiness. His tranquility and kindness gradually attracted 500 followers. In those days, most monks were serious in demeanor, but one monk stood out. Despite his dignity, he always wore a serene smile, even during difficult times. On joyful occasions, his smile blossomed into hearty laughter. Curious, other monks and villagers often asked him about the secret behind his perpetual happiness. He would smile and say, "If I told you, you wouldn't believe me, and if you doubted my words, it would dishonor my master." The wise old master, aware of the source of this monk's happiness, appointed him as his chief assistant. After the rainy season, the old monk and his followers traveled to the city, where the king graciously allowed them to stay in his royal garden for the spring. The king was a diligent ruler, always burdened with the responsibilities of his kingdom, protecting his people, managing disputes among his ministers, and resolving conflicts within his household. His many duties left him with little time for happiness. As summer approached, the monks prepared to return to the forest. Concerned for the aging leader's health, the king urged him to stay in the city while his followers returned to the forest. The old monk agreed and appointed his cheerful assistant as the new leader of the forest monks. The new leader continued his meditation, deepening his wisdom and happiness. He missed his old master and decided to visit him in the city. Upon arrival, he sat at the feet of his master, occasionally exclaiming, "What joy! Oh, what joy!" The king, who came to visit the old monk, was puzzled by the younger monk's behavior. He was offended that the monk did not even acknowledge his presence. Irritated, the king thought, "With all my responsibilities, I've taken the time to visit, and this monk doesn't even respect me enough to greet me. How insulting." He then voiced his displeasure to the old monk, saying, "Venerable sir, this monk must be lazy and overindulgent, which is why he's so full of happiness. Does he always lie around here doing nothing?" The old monk replied, "O king, be patient, and I will explain the source of his happiness. Not many people know it. He was once a king, just as wealthy and powerful as you. He gave up his throne to become a monk, and now he finds his current joy far greater than any happiness he knew as a king. Surrounded by nature, with no need for guards or wealth to protect, he is free from worldly worries. His wisdom shields him, and his meditation brings him such peace that he cannot help but exclaim, 'What joy! Oh, what joy!'" The king, hearing this, understood immediately. The story of the joyful monk brought him a sense of peace. He spent time with the two monks, receiving their guidance before returning to his palace with a newfound understanding. The joyful monk, having paid his respects to his master, returned to the serene forest. The old monk lived out the rest of his days peacefully, eventually passing on and being reborn in a higher realm. This tale teaches us that true happiness comes not from wealth or power, but from inner peace and detachment from material possessions. When we seek happiness within ourselves, we find it in even the smallest of things, and it stays with us always. Those who chase happiness in the external world may never find it, but those who cultivate it from within will always be content.